So hello gamers, today I'm going to be showing you the best grips in Phantom Forces and overviewing which types of guns are good with which types of grips. Make sure to watch yesterday's video that was on the sites, also 1000 likes, and I will do a barrel guide remastered, so make sure to like the video. But yeah, we'll do all of this on the AK-74 because it has pretty low recoil overall. But our first grip is actually the angled grip. Vertical grip is an interesting grip because it's not actually too bad. The thing about the vertical grip though is that it actually increases recoil. It makes your hipfire better, so it is pretty good on some guns. But we'll get to that later in the video, but we'll talk about the angled grip first. So basically, the angled grip is an interesting grip. It doesn't actually lower recoil. However, it doesn't increase recoil. All it does is make your cam recoil better, which makes your gun feel more accurate, which is very nice for early game. And the only real downside of this is that it actually makes your hipfire spread worse, which is kind of annoying. You know, it doesn't actually make your recoil and hipfire worse. It just kind of increases RNG. It makes your bullets go all over the place. So if you're running a hipfire setup, the move might actually be to run vertical grip. But I will be talking about like which guns are good with which setups a little bit later in the video. So yeah, angled grip is actually pretty good on nearly everything that isn't a sniper rifle. I would be using it on the AK-74 if I didn't actually have like 700 kills on the gun already. Since there are so few guns in this game, it's basically just like a good one. Makes your camera recoil a little bit lower. Doesn't actually lower recoil, but it doesn't really have a ton of downsides either, other than the fact that you can't be running a different grip or maybe a laser. If you want better hip fire, maybe just run a green laser instead of this. But if you're having problem with like, first off, what is this guy doing? He's lagging like massively, dude. And this man is just like actually spraying down so hard. What the heck? It's not my ping, it's this guy's ping, dude. If you have a gun that like kind of, it's pretty accurate, but like it just feels kind of inaccurate, you know, because it kind of just kicks around a lot. It might just be camera recoil because guns in this game are just kind of annoying where they like are actually more accurate than they feel sometimes. Like the AK-47 is actually really accurate. So if you do want to run like angled grip. But next up we have the potato grip. Potato grip is basically the angled grip but maybe better. It has better hipfire spread factor, better hipfire spread dampening. It improves recoil displacement instead of rotational recoil. So it could actually be pretty good. If you guys don't know what the stats mean, basically it's an angled grip where it lowers camera recoil. It does have an effect on a little bit of other recoil types, which displacement recoil is kind of something that a lot of guns share. Rotational recoil is more of like only on a few guns mostly, but this also has the nice effect of having a flashlight. Now here's the biggest problem with this. If you have a low-end computer like my old computer, I could not run a flashlight on my gun. The MP10 was basically impossible to use because not only are flashlights really awful on 2 graphics, they kind of just get stuck on everything, if you know what I mean. Like if you play on 2 graphics, you understand this. They also make your game run worse. Like having a flashlight out just lowers your FPS, makes the game like worse, but not for me. Like now that I have actually a pretty good computer, I don't really have the problem anymore with that. So it is pretty nice if you can run on 10 graphics, because then the flashlight is kind of helpful but not really helpful, because let's be real guys, like flashlights in this game are basically worthless. But it does have a flashlight and is overall kind of a better grip. Seems to have less of an effect on making your hipfire worse, but I still would not use it if you're kind of like a hipfire player. So yeah, potato grip is actually pretty good. If you do not have a very good computer, angled grip is actually better just because flashlights seem to have an effect on your performance, a very large effect, at least in my experience. But if you're somebody with a good computer, then probably just run potato grip. I don't know. But a lot of people do not like flashlights. For example, like a lot of people run remove flashlight or turn off flashlight on the MP10, which is funny because it's like the only gun in the game with a built-in flashlight. So you'd think people would want the flashlight with it, but most people just don't. I wish there was a way like in-game to press like F and turn off the flashlight. Would be very nice, but hopefully it would be like a thing where it wouldn't be like one of those things where you have to like change it every single game, because that would be annoying. Regardless, potato grip is also pretty good, but then we have skeleton grip. Now, skeleton grip is very interesting. It has a ton of effects on your gun. First off, it makes you equip and aim faster, so you will aim down sights a little bit faster, and if you pull out the gun, it will pull out faster, which is really nice. However, there are some really massive downsides. First off, it increases recoil by quite a lot, and also camera recoil by extension, so not very good on basically any automatic gun, or even like some semi-auto guns, but it also does make your hipfire better. However, that won't be a big effect because it increases your recoil. But most of the time, it's not going to be good for hipfire, even though it does have benefits to your hipfire, and aim and equip speed do not really matter that much on autos unless you're running like a scope, I guess. But if you're running a scope, you want as low recoil as possible, otherwise you just won't be able to see, you know. If you know what it's like to have like a high recoil gun with a scope, it is like impossible to use. So skeleton grip is pretty much unusable on most automatic guns. However, it is basically a direct upgrade on some DMRs and basically every sniper. Like I use it on basically every sniper except SVU when I'm running automatic conversion, and even when I'm using default SVU, even though it has 150 RPM and it's pretty much a DMR, I'm using it with skeleton grip because skeleton grip increases your handling. Snipers sometimes don't have very good handling. You want to get that better handling, you know? You want to have that better aiming speed. You want to have that better, like, equip time and stuff like that. You can quick scope better. Since most sniper rifles take so long to bolt, that recoil doesn't really matter. Basically direct upgrade on those guns, but skeleton grip is overall very good because of that. But if it wasn't on sniper rifles or had like a big downside in sniper rifles that was kind of just annoying to use, it would basically be good on like nothing. So yeah, overall skeleton grip is a very, very good grip. Just make sure that you're gonna run it on a DMR. It's gotta be like a slower firing one, or just keep in mind you're gonna have more recoil. And if it's an automatic gun, just do not use it. Not worth the upsides. The upsides are so small, especially like this is not a big deal. Like I don't really care that I'm zooming in fast. I mean, I can shoot while I'm zooming in. Like a sniper rifle, you kind of gotta like fully zoom in, but I can just do like that, you know? I'm like shooting as I zoom in, so there's not really a reason to have a faster aiming speed. Like it's not bad, but the downsides are like just too big for it to be like kind of viable, you know? Basically just if you're gonna use it, make sure it is only on sniper rifles or like some slow firing DMRs. But then next up we have folding grip, which is argued to be the best grip, but in my opinion that's stubby grip. But we will be talking about it. Folding grip is basically just the angled grip. However, it does make your hipfire spread dampening a lot worse. It doesn't actually change your spread factor, but it does make your hipfire recoil higher, as you can see. But it does make your camera recoil a lot lower. This means the gun is not actually more accurate. I talked about this. Stubby grip actually makes your gun more accurate, but this makes it feel more accurate quite a bit, which is very nice. Like I will not deny that that is very helpful. Guns that have a lot of like annoying kick, for example, AK-47, like I said, very accurate, but a lot of camera recoil. I actually use folding grip on that gun, and I would recommend that everybody does that, because even though it's not going to make the gun more accurate, it's going to make the gun actually like feel accurate enough to actually hit shots. So if you have a gun that has very low camera recoil and doesn't need this, or it's just a really high recoil gun and you want to get lower recoil, for example, M231, you're not going to run folding grip on that because you're going to alt aim that thing first off, and alt aim means no camera recoil to begin with, and you're not really going to want like a sight that does, or a grip that doesn't really affect the actual recoil. You want the real recoil to go down. That means guns like the M231, AKM, LMGs, usually most guns that have just recoil and just not a lot of camera recoil, but they're kind of inaccurate, you're gonna really want to be using something like the stubby grip. But if there's a gun like the AK-47 that has a lot of kick, or some DMRs that have a lot of kick but don't actually like have a lot of recoil, for example, SL8 with like a scope of some kind, it's very accurate, but it does kick up a lot and it's kind of annoying to hit shots sometimes with it. Great way to fix that. Put on folding grip and then it feels more accurate and you can actually hit your shot. So there is a reason to be using the folding grip sometimes, but overall stubby grip is just better. Here's the reason. Stubby grip, it just lowers recoil. Now it does have the downside of increasing your recoil while you're hip firing. However, it does make your hip fire spread better. So while it will be kicking up, it actually will be somewhat more accurate depending on the gun, because a lot of guns like assault rifles, for example, have pretty duty hip fire, so you're not really going to notice that, and basically you're just going to want to aim with it. But when you aim, you're going to get the best recoil out of pretty much any of the grips, except the pistol grip actually has better recoil on some guns. But overall, just lower camera recoil, lower recoil. As you can see, the stubby grip is like the grip to go with. That's why I use it on basically everything, because it does what it does, and it does it well, and it doesn't really have any downside. Just kind of makes your recoil better. I don't know, dude. I just recommend you use this grip, man. But then you have pistol grip. Now, pistol grip, you are not going to be wanting to use this gun except if it's like the HK416, HK21, and maybe the G3 and AG3. I do use it on the G3. Here's the thing. It reduces rotational recoil and transitional recoil. However, it does have some overall upsides that are nice, but the thing about it is that it's not going to really be that big of a deal, except it's the HK21, HK416, and G3 and stuff. Like, if the gun actually just, like, rotates, you can tell when a gun shoots and it rotates. Like, the HK416, if you're not running pistol grip, it rotates, you know? It, like, actually rotates the gun. It's very weird. Same with the HK21. If it has something like that, you're going to want to use pistol grip. But however, if it doesn't have that, pistol grip is basically worthless. So that's why I would say use pistol grip, and only on a few guns, but you can use it on those guns. Here's the thing though, stubby grip kind of just, it does pretty much the same thing, except it's better on all guns. So basically, if you just don't know if you should be using pistol grip, don't use pistol grip. Just use stubby. But pistol grip is not too bad. As you can see, like, the gun isn't quite as accurate. It's the AK-74, so it's really accurate regardless, but the remaining grip is very, very bad, and so is the Harris CQR. Do not run these grips. They are not worth using. Remaining grip is basically vertical grip, but worse, and Harris CQR is basically pistol grip, but worse. If you want either of them because they look cool, then fine, but like functionality wise, if you want a good grip, stubby grip and pistol grip are going to be better. Sideways grip has basically no effect on your gun. It has a small effect on increasing camera recoil slightly, but only by a little bit, making rotational recoil a little bit better. However, the reason you use this is not because it's a good grip. The reason you use this is because it has alt aim. Now, the alt aim on this is not very good, but the thing about it is that it's a grip attachment, which means you can run whatever sight you want on this gun and still have alt aim on anything you want it to. But as you can see, it's not a very good alt aim. It also doesn't make your gun aim any slower, which makes it very, very nice, because you didn't know all grips actually make you aim slower, except the skeleton grip makes you aim faster, and this doesn't affect it. So if you want to be able to not scope in on a sniper rifle and just be able to like do this, so you can actually like hit maybe some CQC shots, then it might not be too bad on a sniper rifle because it doesn't also make you aim slower. And if you want alt aim on a gun, but you want to actually be able to use like an actual sight as well some of the time, this is not a bad option. It's kind of underrated in my opinion. I just don't really recommend it because like you want actual lower recoil, you're probably just going to want to use like AMT Terminator and a stubby grip. But if you want to be able to switch between alt aim and like an actual sight, then this is not a bad option. Our final grip that's actually good is the chainsaw grip. Now the chainsaw grip has basically makes your spread factor a lot lower, your spread dampening a lot higher, and your hipfire recovery speed better. And also you can't aim down sights, which is kind of annoying. You know how normally you can cancel a super jump, but you have to aim to do that, and you can't really aim, so that's kind of annoying. But it does make your hipfire a lot better. However, it's not really that effective on like anything that isn't like already a good hipfire gun. It's not such a massive effect on hipfire that it's going to be super crazy good on like a gun that has awful hipfire to begin with. However, if a gun already has very good hipfire, for example, I don't know, MP7 has alright hipfire, slap that chainsaw grip on there, it is going to be so accurate. It is going to be a hipfire master gun, you know? It's going to make your hipfire basically as good as aiming, which is nice because you don't gotta aim. You can walk as fast as you already could, and you also just have good hipfire, you know? So if you really like hipfire, this is the go-to hipfire grip, which is why the vertical grip is just worse. Like, if you want to go all in on hipfire, the chainsaw grip is incredible for that. However, vertical grip just makes your aiming worse, and it has a nice effect on your hipfire, but not this much of an effect. I would recommend this. I just don't really use a ton of hipfire guns, but as you can see, like, you're just aiming so well with a hipfire gun, and this isn't even like the best hipfire gun in the game. This is nowhere close. Best is like L2A3, but this is just so good. Like, I don't even know how you wouldn't use this. If you're a hipfire user, give this a go, man. I forgot how good this actually is. Even though it's the MP7, like the MP7, good hipfire, but not this good hipfire. As you could probably tell, it's not like the main meta because you can't really super jump as well, and you may as well just like, if you're good, just aim and probably get better spread. But if you want to just run around like an absolute madman, never have to aim down sights and just like shoot at people like this, not even a bad sight, you know? It's like, I mean, grip. It's not a bad grip. But yeah, last up, let's talk about how the grips work on every single gun, because I want to talk about like recommended weapon types for each individual grip. Okay, first off, we have the vertical grip. Now the vertical grip is okay on any fast firing gun that doesn't have a lot of initial kit. The AS Val is okay with it in some SMGs, but other than that, probably wouldn't recommend it to begin with, but it's not too bad on those. Now angled grip is overall very good if you're going to aim, same with potato grip, but if you're not going to aim, maybe run vertical grip. But overall, angled grip and potato grip are very good early on. Skeleton grip is only good on sniper rifles and a little bit of the DMRs. If you want to use an automatic gun, this is not recommended basically ever. There's no real reason to use this, because if you want better hipfire, then vertical grip and chainsaw grip will even do you better then. And if you want better aiming speed, it is very good, but only on sniper rifles. Okay, then you have folding grip. This is basically just an angled grip and potato grip, but better. It does what they do better and has like less downsides kind of. So yeah, folding grip is really, really good if you want low camera recoil. It's basically good on anything that isn't a sniper. It's even pretty good on DMRs, all automatic guns, couple of the semi-auto guns, not really named the snipers though. You have stubby grip. This is basically good on anything that the folding grip is good on, except better on most of them. So overall, stubby grip would probably be the go-to grip because it just makes your gun overall better. Pistol grip is basically just only good on the HK416 G3 and the guns that I mentioned before. Definitely a good grip, but it's not the best for most types of guns. Then you have sideways grip. Now sideways grip is only really good on anything that you want to have a sight and also alt aim. And you have chainsaw grip. Like I said, if it's a gun that already has good hipfire, use it. But if it's a gun that doesn't have very good hipfire, you shouldn't be hipfiring on guns that don't have very good hipfire to begin with. And keep in mind that you can't like aim, but you have incredible hipfire accuracy. And I'd say stubby grip is overall the best, but those are the best grips in Phantom Forces. As you can tell, there's not that many grips in this game. However, most of them are actually pretty good. There's just a couple kind of stinkers that aren't very good. Anyways, gamers, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and sub. 1,000 likes and I'll make a barrels guide. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.